And we're live on the Touchdowns and Tangents radio show. I'm Pete D. Camarillo.
I'm Kenneth Frank James Berry.
And we thank you once again for joining us on this rainy Thursday night on the Good News radio station and mobile app. Soon to be your favorite podcast app because, as you know, I like to update our regular account on Speaker, which pushes out to SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, and everywhere else you can find podcasts.
Podbean.
Yeah, man. So, Kenny, real quick, off the top, man, explain to people what this podcast is like.
This podcast is like when somebody walks in the room with some dope-ass food, and you just been working and grinding all day, and then you just get a whiff of what they have, and you're like, I gotta go get something to eat. So really, you're just a catalyst for feeding a bunch of people through creativity and just good, wholesome, organic awesomeness.
Wow, so my mind is blown with that metaphor. For those of you who have never listened to this podcast or broadcast before, we're somewhere in between random internet viral shit, your local barbershop talk, a conversation with a mentor, and just some blasphemous shit talk with a college friend that you haven't seen in years.
And really dope underground hip-hop talk at a local hip-hop show where everybody is high as hell, but it doesn't really matter because you're on another level of consciousness, and it's really dope.
And what's special about this week? Well, first off, our levels are actually right, so shout out to Keith and the Good News. And second off, our phone line is fixed, so we got a couple calls tonight.
Shout out to Keith again.
I got my boy Chris. He's a full press coverage writer for the Raiders. He writes Raiders, and he also writes the NBA, so he'll be joining us about 9. And then hopefully a couple other people from the Touchdowns and Tangents community will call in to show some love, maybe give a take, maybe give a tangent. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, we're at a special time this Thursday, 8 o'clock. We're usually at 8:30. So we just wanted to get on the air as soon as we could. I was hyped, had some stuff I wanted to talk to, wanted to fit our callers in, and why not?
Yeah, man, it's what a time, really, to be alive, honestly. And I'm not just saying that to, like, quote Future, but crazy week.
But you did just go. All right, you wanna drop a tangent? You want to vent? You got a take?
All these trades I think are low-key kind of disrespectful. Like Jason Pierre-Paul got traded from the Giants to the Buccaneers, along with the Giants' 4th-round pick to the Bucks. They pretty much swapped 3rd and 4th-round picks.
No, so they
got a 3rd-round pick and they pretty much got picks.
Yeah, they pretty much got a 3rd-round pick for Pierre-Paul, and then they swapped 4th.
That's mad disrespectful for a dude who came back from almost blowing his whole hand off.
Who won the Super Bowl with that team?
And has been one of the most productive pass rushers.
I'm assuming he's from Florida. Is he from Florida?
He's from Florida. He went to USF.
So.
And he also he was on the books for like $17 million. So
and honestly, with Vinny Curry, Gerald McCoy, the Buccaneers actually have a decent defensive line. Noah Spence? Yeah, man. So they might actually do something for once.
For once.
You know what I was thinking about today? I so badly want the Buccaneers to be good. Like, I honestly feel sorry for them because they have so much talent. And let's be real. I mean, what, are they going to be rolling out Drew Brees in mummy wraps in like another year or two?
Nah, it's definitely not happening.
Was that disrespectful?
Yeah, it felt disrespectful. It felt really disrespectful.
On top of that, some other movement this week. As you called it, my boy, Michael Crabtree, was cut from the Raiders. We didn't really talk about that last week, but he was cut and he signed with Baltimore, as I called it and you called it. And on top of that, Sheldon Richardson signed with the Vikings, and he actually took a lot less guaranteed money than he was asking for, which is not really surprising because he's only had 2 sacks the past 2 years. So
it's like, hey, why don't you just be your natural disruptive self and regain your Pro Bowl, All-Pro form
and on then take your payday
on a defensive line that has Everson Griffin, Danielle Hunter, and Sharif Floyd.
And then get paid.
Yeah, on one of the best defenses in the league. And then get paid.
Which makes sense because that's what he was supposed to do last year in Seattle, but it just kind of happened too late. And that defensive line as a whole just went through injury, so kind of set them back.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate, actually, because if you look at that team, like, tons of potential. You look at the Seattle defensive line, they drafted some guys. McDowell out of Michigan State still hasn't really done it. Malik McDowell still hasn't really done anything yet, but the way they have that defense set up, it's pretty hybrid. So there's just a lot. Frank Clark, like, there's a lot of talented defensive linemen there, so it'll be interesting. But Sheldon Richardson, I think, might have a Kevin Williams type here.
What does that mean?
Kevin Williams, former first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings. He was the 11th overall pick. I forget what year. He had multiple 10-sack seasons to start his career. Came out of Oklahoma State. Was one of the best pure defensive tackles in the league. Didn't really get a lot of credit. Got hurt towards the end. Faded out. Him and Pat Williams. His role kind of changed. But Sheldon Richardson could almost be at that level, if not better. Just based off talent and his explosive ability. He could still play. And he's really perfect for that defense because they have like a mug front kind of with Zimmer. So there's definitely going to be a lot of blitz packages and just a lot of ways those D tackles, those D linemen are just going to get after the quarterback and play in somebody else's backfield. And if you look at how the offensive lines are in the NFC West, it's going to be hard when you can't double team Sheldon Richardson, Danielle Hunter, or Everson Griffin, and you have to pick one. And you got Todd Barr and Kendricks, and they might draft Lorenzo Carter at 30. So who knows?
Okay, keeping it in the NFC, another move that went down actually today. Mike Wallace to the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's not fair. It's cheating.
Eagles are getting everything. What's up with the Eagles and signing former Baltimore Ravens deep threats?
If it works, it works.
Except for they're usually washed by the time they get to Philly. So,
but Mike Wallace can actually catch better than Torrey Smith.
Yeah, but he's not as
fast as he used to be.
Yeah,
but he's still more consistent, and he might actually his level of play might help Alshon Jeffrey because I feel like Alshon Jeffrey plays to the level of talent that's in the receiver room of teams that he's on.
Which, by the way, keeping it in Philadelphia, Chris Long is contemplating retirement. Man. What do you think about that?
Why not? Dude, you've got 2 Super Bowls. You've done everything you really wanted to do in the NFL. Hell, you played for free.
You don't need
this
money.
Year. Why risk your body another year? It comes down to, do you really want to hang with these guys?
I think the biggest thing with Chris Long is the NFL needs someone who is both vocal, plays well, conscious, and, well, let's call a spade, white. Like,
I was like, the elephant, the big white rhino in the room. R.I.P. to rhinoceroses because white people killed them off this week.
So, honestly, I think the NFL would really miss him, and he should probably stay, but I think you bring up a valid point, man. As I said last week, when you reach a certain age and you reach the pinnacle of your career, it's really up to you how much longer you want to keep playing. Like, I can't put $1 on what your body needs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it comes to a point where, like, it has to be more than the money.
Because you know you're going to wake up all week sore, and, like, if that's not worth it to you for $4 million or whatever he's going to get paid. Like, Philadelphia legit sent him money, and he hasn't, like, signed the check or whatever to get the extra $1 million roster bonus he has coming to him.
Yeah.
So it's like, bruh's, like, just leaving checks out there because he doesn't know if he's going to come back or not. So, what about some people who haven't got picked up? Any names that come to mind? Some names to know about?
Jelson's still out there.
Which if he goes to either of the LA teams, that would be crucial.
Horrifying.
They both need inside linebackers. I think he's probably a little better fit for the Rams because they have I guess it really depends if they get sued, but they have a 3-4 to 5-2 type defense. And Bowman is good enough
to
be a run stuffer. And
he's good enough in coverage. He's an excellent run stuffer.
He's good enough in coverage. I mean, you have Barron there, so hopefully Barron can compensate for what Bowman lacks in speed and agility these days. But who knows? Which, as I already brought up, Sue, he limited his teams to the Saints, the Titans, and who was the third one? The Rams. Exactly.
And
by the way, if he goes to the Rams, I'm going to be hot. Because that's unfair.
He fleeced the Raiders.
Like, how are you? Like,
to drive his price up. Probably.
Besides that, I mean, we all kind of knew that was going to happen, but at the same time, it was like, why even give us anything to eat? Like, why give us bait? Like, we knew you weren't going to go there. You already did this to us 3 years ago, and now here you are again. You got Baby Reggie, B.I. shouting you out on Twitter. You got Marshawn Lynch's mom coming to the facility, bring you probably some good home cooking. So Sue was like, I'm not even going to put myself in that situation. Which
you didn't really
is
want
good.
to come to Oakland. Good for you.
Which is good.
We don't want your selfish ass anyway. I'm kidding.
But the point is, why even play with us? Why even tease us?
Well, he's probably trying to drive his price up a little bit.
I think it came down to dollars because I read a report today saying that he fully intended to go, but the Raiders were like, told him not to go.
They don't have the money to pay him.
Yeah, it had to have been.
They're down to what, like 20
But if
million?
he goes to the Rams, what I'm saying is, if he goes to the Rams for like
28 million
under
in cap
$8 million,
space. They have 28 million in cap space.
Yeah, but they still have stuff to do too.
Yeah, but there's also the Titans having the most. They have what, like 30, almost 40 million.
Yeah.
Why would you go to the Titans?
Why would you go to any of those three? Don't the Saints run a 3-4 too?
The Saints run a 3-4.
All three of those teams run a 3-4.
But here's the problem. They barely had enough money to pay Drew Brees.
Yes.
And it would be great for you to be in it. But it's like, Aaron Donald's better than Cameron Jordan and
I don't know
Casey.
why these defensive tackles want to go and play 3-4 defenses. It's not fun. It doesn't prolong your career. It
almost killed me in high school.
We've seen how nose tackles who play in 3-4 defenses just fall off a cliff because they either gain too much weight or they don't have the physical strength to uphold triple teams anymore.
Casey, Hampton.
Exactly.
By the way, Morgan Burnett signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Excellent signing.
That's exactly what they needed, but that probably means Mike Mitchell is probably going to be out.
They cut both of them. They cut him already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. He's probably not going to get a deal.
They cut Mike Mitchell and William Gay.
Yeah, I know that. So but I'm just saying, now he's not going back there.
He was never going to go back there. He was never going to go back.
Are you his agent?
He's not going back because they wanted somebody better.
Yeah, obviously.
He can, like, Morgan Burnett can get picks and play the run. And if they get Eric Reed, put Burnett at free.
They're not getting Eric Reed because Eric Reed is blacklisted, as we've talked about before. He's still out on the open market.
He's not blacklisted. He's whitelisted.
Yeah, for sure.
He's on white people shit list.
There's so many places that he could go because he could play either safety spot, and he actually played some linebacker last year.
And some slot corner, surprisingly.
So I don't know why he's still out there.
I can name several teams that need his services. The Colts.
Vaccaro's still out there, but he's coming off of injury.
And he's never really...
Shout out to Santa Clarita.
Shout out to Texas players who don't pan out in the league at safety.
Okay, bro, we got you on tape saying you like Vaccaro last year. You said...
He didn't pan out. He got injured again. So it's like, what's the point? He got injured again. I can't be
just throwing the towel?
Yeah. Just Michael Huff got injured and then started sucking. Fell off. He was trash with the Ravens. Say he wasn't.
He wasn't even. I don't even think he was there a full year.
Doesn't matter.
What's up with up with the Wash DBs to Ravens pipeline? Shout out to Fabian Washington.
You calling Eric what a Wash?
Nah, he was never a Raider.
You meant Raider DBs? Yeah. Chris Carr.
Yeah, for real.
Fabian Washington, 89 overall, under that rating. Get 4 picks 2 years in a row, and people think you're actually.